Welcome back on Newsmaker. A good news story during the holidays. My next guest has awarded nearly $300,000 to food banks and pantries across Arizona. Anna Maria Chavez is the president and CEO of the Arizona Community Foundation. She joins me now on Newsmaker. We've got video of you. Great to see you, by the way. We've got video of you handing out these checks to food banks and pantries around the state of Arizona. Can you just run down some of the places you've been?
Absolutely. So first of all, it's great to see you. It was an honor to get on the road, to really meet our partners on the ground, meeting the needs of local communities. We had heard over the last few months how people were struggling to make ends meet, specifically around, what they were going to cook for dinner that night. And so working with our team in our regional offices, we decided to not only to give grants to these rural pantries and food banks, but I personally got on the road and have been on the road actually for 2.5 weeks, meeting these individuals, these heroes in local communities.
Is it too simplistic, Anna Maria, to say that Tucson and Phoenix are in pretty good shape and they recognized a need in kind of the far rural areas of Arizona that really need a hand, and those folks and benefactors came together to contribute money to the Arizona Community Foundation, and then you went out and started helping these local food banks?
Absolutely. And it actually started in conversations we were having with state officials, local officials, other philanthropic foundations to talk about what we were seeing on the ground. We knew there was going to be an impact on funding at the federal and state level. And so we wanted to make sure we were ready. And at the Arizona Community Foundation, working with the Arizona Food Bank Network and St. Mary's, the United Food Bank, we wanted to ensure that we were meeting the needs in rural communities. We said, we have an expertise working in rural communities. Let us take that opportunity. And so with the help of our partners, we identified some of those food banks and pantries, and with the generosity of our donors, we were able to give them grants.
Are these donors corporations, individuals, nonprofits? Who's giving you the money?
These were individuals. So these were individuals. We made a call out to our Arizona Community Foundation donors and said, listen, we really have a need right now. Would you be interested in providing funding to this new fund called the Thriving Arizona Fund, where we'll take this money and grant out to rural food pantries and banks? And they said, absolutely. In less than 2 weeks, we raised over $500,000.
Unbelievable.
Generosity was great.
Give me a for instance where you went to a community and just describe kind of what the reaction was when you came to them, because you were presenting checks anywhere from $3,500 to $25,000 to some of these food banks, and that really makes a difference.
It does. I'll tell you, I had the honor of going. I started in Yuma, I went to Flagstaff, Tuba City, the Hopi Reservation. There were 2 individuals that really touched me. One was a gentleman who's the president of the food bank in Concho, Arizona. And it's all run by volunteers. Their need has gone up 30% this year in requests for food boxes. And most of the people picking up food from their food bank are older adults in their 70s and 80s. And he was so dedicated to the mission. He was even in a car accident a few months ago and still came back to volunteer. I mean, leading with heart. And then this week, I was in Thatcher and Safford, and I was talking to the amazing volunteers at the Safford Food Bank, and they were telling me that they open up their food bank at 9 a.m. every day, and there's a line of cars starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, so they can get a number to ensure that when the food bank opens at 9, they're in line to get a box.
Yeah, it's incredible. In case our viewers look at you and go, I know her. Well, Anna Maria Chavez, you should know, worked here in Arizona in political circles. She worked for Governor Hull, Janet Napolitano. Who am I missing?
So I had the great pleasure of working for 2 amazing governors, Jane Hull, Janet Napolitano, and then I went on to run the Girl Scouts of the USA.
Yes.
On a global level. And also worked with the National Council on Aging. And so I'm very proud to be back home after almost 3 decades of public service. I've always been in public service. And it's an honor and a privilege to work at the Arizona Community Foundation, which is a nonprofit that donors have trusted for over 47 years in Arizona.
Yeah, you also worked in the Clinton administration, right?
As a civil servant right out of law school, I was a DS9, and I loved it. I learned so much, again, about working in local communities.
And you know Arizona, you grew up here, you grew up in Eloy. Can you kind of tell me how that shapes your view of rural Arizona and the need, because you grew up in it?
I did. I grew up in Eloy, Arizona, a proud daughter of parents who were deeply committed to community. I grew up in an agricultural community where if something went wrong, a neighbor needed help, we all pitched in. So from a very young age, our kitchen table was about bringing neighbors together to solve big issues. And through that experience, I realized that I had to help in any way I could. And that led to a career of helping people both at the local, state, and global level.
Do you think that community sense still exists?
It does, and I am proud to say that. I am, as I've been on the road now for 2.5 weeks, I've been overwhelmed by the generosity of individuals and sometimes that don't have a lot themselves. I also saw generosity amongst people, and we didn't talk politics, we didn't talk zip code. It was literally Arizonans helping Arizonans, and that's when I think the magic happens. And I think that's why I love being a native Arizona. I've seen it my entire life. When something needs to happen, people figure out how to get it done. And I'm excited because on Friday, I'll be going back to Pinal County, to my hometown, Eloy, to give them a surprise.
Oh.
Yes, about what our donors are wanting to do in support of local communities.
Tell me about this term food deserts. I'm not sure we all really understand it, but part of it is that people in rural communities are far away. They might even be able to afford food, but they're far away from grocery stores. And that's a problem, right?
It is a problem. So let me give you 2 stats. 1 in 6 Arizonans live in a food desert. And what does that mean? Because you can actually live in a food desert in the middle of Phoenix. It means that, let's say you're an older adult, you can't drive anymore, and there's not a grocery store within walking distance, or even a supermarket in your neighborhood. In rural Arizona, I found somebody who literally had driven from the northeast corner of Arizona to a food bank in Flagstaff. So people are really trying to figure out how to get food, sustainable food. In addition, 1 in 8 individuals are receiving SNAP benefits. So 1 in 8 Arizonans have some type of food insecurity. Again, their monthly wages aren't meeting the needs, rent, peace, or food, or medication. And so that's why I think we're seeing this massive increase in people requesting food assistance.
Would you agree that in the United States, it just seems inconceivable because we're awash in food? You think of what's thrown out at grocery stores, thrown out at restaurants, thrown out in our own homes, that there really, frankly, is no excuse for somebody to go hungry in the United States of America.
Well, I think that's why, again, it's going to take all of us to figure this out. One of the things we are working on at the Arizona Community Foundation is investing in actually food sustainability within regions. So working with local nonprofits who are trying to recreate food supply in their local neighborhoods. That's literally building gardens to make produce easily accessible, figuring out how to deal with the heat that continues to increase.
Have you talked to people in other states about how you're doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. And many people may not know what a community foundation is. Again, we're a 501c3, but we're connected to other community foundations across the country. There are 900 of us. We just happen to be one of the very few that's statewide. And so we've been talking to our community foundation partners across the country, figuring out innovative ideas that we can embed here, and then sharing the ideas that we are investing in here. And it's been really a wonderful experience being back in Arizona for the last 3 years and really talking to philanthropists about impactful philanthropy methods.
So these individuals who contribute to your foundation, Do some of them not want to be named? They want to remain anonymous?
It depends on the individuals or the family. Some do, some are very proud to actually take trips with me to meet these nonprofits. I've been known to load people into a minivan and drive them to all corners of the state. And donors love it. They like to actually see their
Yes.
philanthropy at work.
Final thing, we're in the season of giving. Give us your best website or way to reach out to you. We'll put it on our website as well if people want to go there after the program. But just tell us where they might be able to help and contribute.
Thank you for this opportunity. I encourage everybody to check out our website, www.azfoundation.org, www.azfoundation.org, or you can call us directly at 602-381-1400. And if you get to our website, you'll see a link right there for the Thriving Arizona Fund, where you can give whatever you can afford to give. And if you're interested in opening up an account here with us, your own donor advice fund, we'd be happy to do that as well. But again, I think this is an opportunity during the holidays to give back and help a neighbor, whether they live right next door or they live across the state of Arizona. I know they would appreciate any help that you could provide.
Ana Maria Chavez, Arizona Community Foundation President and CEO. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Great work. Continued success.
Great to see you again.
Good to see you too. We appreciate it. We're back in a minute on Newsmaker. Thanks as always for joining us on Newsmaker. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to all of you, and we will see you next year on Newsmaker.